We spin thrilling tales faster than you can say plot twist. If you laugh, gasp, or accidentally binge watch at 3 a.m., that's on you. Hit subscribe. It's cheaper than therapy and way more fun. Let's continue hilarious tale of Ethan the Slacker and Catherine. The Ice Queen Catherine asked without turning. I'm not interested in his protection. I'm interested in the most efficient way to cut him loose with losing out. Ethan quietly placed the coffee on her desk, trying to be invisible. Ethan tuned in on the conversation and thought, the Norman Lark problem. The guy's a walking liability in a tailored suit. The Clayton investors only back him because his uncle is old man Clayton's golf buddy. They don't care if he's competent. They care if he's connected. You can't fire him. You have to make him quit. Give him a project so impossible, so publicly doomed, that failure is guaranteed, and the Clayton Group will be begging you to remove the embarrassment. Catherine finally turned, her gaze sweeping past Sarah and landing on Ethan. She had heard every word. Catherine, Ethan, you've been observing. What's your take on the Norman Lark situation? Ethan froze, the coffee mug still in his hand. My take is that I shouldn't be allowed to have a take. Ethan said aloud, stumbling, well, he seems very networked. Ethan, while stumbled aloud, his thoughts were racing. Networked? He's a social climber with the ethics of a used car salesman. Don't fire him. That's what he expects. He's got golden parachutes for days. No. You promote him. Make him the chairman of special initiatives or some other meaningless, high-sounding title. Then you hand him the Viridian Dynamics partnership file, that green tech startup, the one built on stolen patents. Let him use all his charm and connections to close that deal. When it inevitably explodes in a lawsuit and a media firestorm, his reputation will be ash. The Clayton Group will throw him under the bus themselves to avoid the splashback. He'll have no choice but to resign to pursue other opportunities, which probably means getting a job as a greeter at one of his uncle's country clubs. He stood there, outwardly looking like a deer in headlights, while his mind executed a flawless corporate assassination in under 10 seconds. Catherine listened to the entire, brutal, brilliant plan unfold in her mind. A slow, cold smile touched her lips. She looked from Ethan's clueless expression to Sarah's expectant one. Catherine asked Sarah, I've changed my mind. Draft a memo. We're promoting Norman Lark. We're recognizing his exceptional networking skills. We're making him chairman of special initiatives. Sarah's eyes widened in confusion. Ma'am? But Catherine cut off and continued. And his first special initiative will be to personally shepherd the Viridian Dynamics partnership to completion. He'll have full autonomy and full responsibility. Understanding dawned on Sarah's face, followed by a look of pure admiration. It was a masterstroke. Catherine still talking to Sarah, however, her eyes never leaving Ethan. That will be all, Sarah. Please proceed with the plan immediately. Sarah, looking slightly bewildered but obedient, gathered her tablet and left, closing the door with a soft click. The silence that remained in the office was profound, broken only by the frantic thumping of Ethan's heart. He stood before her desk, feeling like a schoolboy summoned to the principal's office. If the principal was a supermodel who could destroy your life with a glance. Catherine's full-on badass CEO projection was now focused on Ethan. The first week. How are you finding your new role, Ethan? Is there anything troubling you? Her tone was deceptively mild, a calm lake hiding treacherous currents. It did nothing to soothe his nerves. Ethan, however, was running a cliché romance plot in his mind, his eyes pink and thoughts wild. She's even more beautiful up close. It's not fair. That skin looks photoshopped. That nose should be in a museum. Those lips. Wow. But her eyes are terrifying. Like staring into the freezer section of a high-end appliance store. Is this it? Is she going to confess her feelings? What do I say? If I agree too quickly, I'll look desperate. Maybe I should play it cool. Tell her, let's start as friends and see where it goes. Yeah, that's smooth. That's confident. Catherine stared at him. Her face was a perfect, blank canvas of professional inquiry, while a tidal wave of absurdity crashed through her mind. She fought the overwhelming, homicidal urge to throw the heavy crystal stapler on her desk directly at his head. Instead, with a control she didn't know she possessed, she pulled a slim folder from her drawer and slid it across the polished oak. Catherine asked, her voice flat, devoid of all emotion. "This is an addendum to your contract, and a non-disclosure agreement. Sign them." Ethan numbly picked up the documents. His eyes scanned the legalese, snagging on the key phrases. All matters related to Judy's are confidential. Any leak will result in a $20 million penalty. His heart did a somersault. $20 million? But then his eyes dropped to the next clause, and his brain short-circuited completely. The employee shall remain by the side of the CEO, Catherine Pierce, during all business hours and essential functions, barring explicit written exemption. Compliance with this clause will be a primary factor in determining a substantial monthly performance bonus. Ethan Mind World, stay by my side at all times. What kind of line is that? Is this a corporate contract or a romance novel? Is she trying to keep me as her boy toy? Ethan Hayes, a man of dignity and pride, could totally be down for that. I mean, look at her. And there's a bonus attached? Sugar mama, I'm ready. Catherine's nails were digging into her palms, leaving half-moon impressions. She was genuinely afraid that if she listened to any more of this, she might actually throw him out the 42nd floor window. Catherine reined in her homicidal urges, and her voice was an icy ultimatum. Are you signing or not? Ethan, snatching a pen from her desk. Signing? Definitely signing. He scrawled his name on both documents with a frantic flourish, terrified she might change her mind and he'd be sent back to the land of malfunctioning staplers and sad cafeteria food. After signing, he looked up, flashing what he thought was a charming, confident smile, but was actually just a cringeworthy smirk. Ethan, Ms. Pierce, I'm all yours now. Whatever you need, just say the word. Ethan, meanwhile, was thinking, Sugar mama, I'm ready. Catherine closed her eyes for a long second, feeling her blood pressure skyrocket. She took a deep, centering breath, the kind usually reserved for diffusing bombs, and told herself the only mantra that could possibly get her through this, for the company, for the bottom line. I will endure. To Ethan, however, the sight was utterly different. He saw a powerful, beautiful woman, visibly struggling to contain her emotions after he had so boldly declared himself all hers. That deep sigh, clearly the sound of her restraint fraying. The closed eyes? She was picturing their future together. Ethan once again started running on the pink track. Wow, she's really fighting it. The professional facade is crumbling. I knew it. The stay by my side clause was a cry for help. A corporate love letter. She's overwhelmed by her feelings for me. I can't just stand here. I have to be the strong one. I have to give her an out, let her save face. His internal drama queen shifted into full, glorious blast mode. He unconsciously straightened his posture, puffing out his chest in what he believed was a gesture of strong, silent support, but which made him look more like a pigeon trying to impress a falcon. Ethan said in a voice he hoped was both understanding and manly, Right. Well, if. That's all. I suppose I should return to my station now. Let you. Compose yourself. He gave a single, firm nod, as if they had just shared a moment of profound, unspoken understanding. Ethan gave himself a mental thumb up. Perfect. A graceful exit. I acknowledged the tension, but didn't push. I'm giving her space to process this torrent of emotion. She'll respect that. She'll see I'm not just a pretty face. I'm emotionally intelligent, too. Our children will be both brilliant and emotionally well-adjusted. Catherine stared at him, her jaw so tight it was a miracle her teeth didn't turn to powder. The sheer, unmitigated gall of this man, to interpret her sheer, soul-crushing exasperation as romantic turmoil, was a form of psychological warfare she had not been prepared for. She managed to give a single, sharp, jerky nod, not trusting herself to form words without screaming. Taking this as confirmation of their deep, psychic connection, Ethan turned and strode confidently towards the door, his walk a little too full of swagger for a man who had just signed a $20 million penalty clause. As the door clicked shut, Catherine slowly reached for her bottom desk drawer, where she kept a secret, emergency stash of premium bourbon. For the bottom line, Mantra was going to need some serious liquid reinforcement. Chapter 2. The Bad Juju and the Hostile Takeover. 2 days later, Ethan was enjoying his new lifestyle. Ethan, thinking from his office. The charcoal gray suit today? A silent announcement that someone's financial future is about to be euthanized. She probably spends her lunch breaks reading corporate obituaries for fun. What a waste of potential. With that level of focus, she could be a top-ranked guild leader in any MMORPG, commanding raids instead of sycophants. In her office, Catherine was trying to dissect the Nexus Dynamics proposal. It was a dazzling document, full of promises of market domination. Yet, her focus was shattered. She'd been staring at the same revenue projection chart for 10 minutes, but she was now an expert on the office debate about whether the new air fresheners in the bathroom smelled like ambition or despair. Catherine, pressing the intercom, her tone sharp. Ethan. His voice was instantly obnoxiously bright. Ready for duty, Ms. Pierce. Ethan thinking. The eagle has landed. Or, more accurately, the highly paid pigeon has been summoned. What's a mission? Polishing the silver. Get in here, she ordered. Coffee. Now. He entered moments later, presenting the mug with a flourish. Your coffee, Ms. Pierce. She took it. The aroma was complex and inviting, a world away from the office swill. Ethan thinking boom. Nailed it. Personal stash of Guatemalan single origin. Noticed her micro-expression of disgust yesterday. She can try to hide her humanity, but her taste buds betray her. The plan is in motion. Step 1, caffeine dependency. Step 2, undying loyalty. Step 3. Well, step 3 involves a beach house and early retirement. Catherine took a sip. It was exceptional. She looked at his hopeful, praise-me face and felt a powerful urge to use the mug for something other than drinking. HM, she stated, placing it down. Ethan, HM, that's it. That's the review. I give you liquid art and you give me a grunt? The emotional range of a brick wall. Fine. Whatever. Back to my important research on meme stocks. He turned to leave. Stay, Catherine commanded. He froze. Something else, Miss Pierce? Ethan's mind snapped to attention. Okay, this is it. The moment of truth. She's going to break. Do I look charmingly vulnerable or confidently aloof? Catherine took a steadying breath and pointed to a massive stack of files. We're considering a partnership with Nexus Dynamics. Review this. I want your take in 30 minutes. Ethan's face collapsed. Ethan's mental anguish was almost tangible. Are you serious? That's a tree's worth of paper. My take? My take is that it's 3 p.m., the sacred hour for online window shopping and existential dread, not for reading corporate fanfiction. With the profound misery of a man being asked to actually earn his salary, he dragged the files to the sofa. Catherine pretended to work, her ears tuned to the frequency of his mind. Ethan, despite drowning in despair, started his analysis on Nexus and Solstice partnership. Nexus Dynamics, the darlings of the tech world. CEO is Tristan Croft, the guy who's on the cover of Forbes more often than the barcode. Let's see, his Instagram is a parade of private jets, yacht parties, and humble quotes from his Bali villa. Meanwhile, their server costs are somehow lower than my grocery bill for the same claimed data volume. Something's festering in the state of Nexus. Ah, there's the rot. Their explosive user growth is all from bot farms in Eastern Europe. It's a complete house of cards. But his mental tone shifted, becoming grudgingly respectful. The one solid thing in this dumpster fire is their patent portfolio for video and audio file compression. It's legit genius-level stuff. It's the only reason anyone still takes them seriously. It's like finding a flawless diamond in a septic tank. He continued, his thoughts sharpening. And look at this. Their exclusive partnership for hardware, it's with Nebula Innovation. And who's a silent partner in Nebula? Our favorite corporate shark, Harrison Vance. Of course. So Croft gets to play rockstar with Vance's money. And Vance gets to prop up a company whose only real asset is those patents. This whole thing is a Vance operation. If we partner with Nexus, we're not just buying smoke. were directly funding Harrison Vance's pocket and his ego. Catherine's blood ran cold. She had missed the Nebula Vance connection. The proposal wasn't just risky, it was a strategic trap. 30 minutes later, Ethan slunk over, holding a single, tragically blank note card with 2 sentences scrawled on it. Miss Pierce, I gave it a look. Probably not helpful. The card read, CEO is a clown. Company is a balloon waiting for a pin. The Nebula link is bad juju. Ethan's mind was sweating bullets. Bad juju? That's my professional assessment. I can't ride to Vance-backed sham built on bot farms and one good idea. She'd have me committed. Oh well, my conscience is clear. When this explodes, my severance will be my reward for cryptic wisdom. Catherine took the card. She looked from the pathetic warning to his apologetic face. Ethan, she said, her voice dangerously calm. This bad juju, is this one of your familial specialties? He stiffened. It's a related field. Catherine nodded slowly. Then, she picked up her phone, her movements precise and lethal. Catherine, Sarah, cancel the Nexus meeting. Immediately. And I want a new proposal on my desk in 2 hours. We're acquiring Viridian Dynamic. Full hostile takeover protocol. Ethan's eyes went wide. Viridian Dynamic was a small, unsexy data analytics firm that Norman Lark had recently championed in a board meeting, staking his reputation on its potential. Ethan, thinking, Viridian? But that's Norman's pet project. It's a dud. Why would she? Oh. Catherine hung up and met his gaze, a predator's gleam in her eyes. Catherine, Nexus is a Vance-backed trap, but its compression patents are the real prize. Once Nexus collapses under the weight of Croft's lifestyle and fraudulent metrics, which it will, those patents will be auctioned off. We'll own Viridian, which is the perfect infrastructure to integrate them. As for Norman Lark, she let the sentence hang in the air, the cold smile returning. He bet the wrong way. He championed a company that will be rendered obsolete before the ink on his visionary press release is dry. His failure will be public, absolute, and entirely of his own making. The Clayton investors won't be able to protect him from this. Ethan listened, his mind reeling. She wasn't just avoiding a bad deal. She was using the bad deal to acquire priceless assets and simultaneously orchestrate the downfall of a rival within her own ranks. Ethan felt an excitement. He loved these type of settings, and he loved every bit of this savage act. This woman doesn't just set the board on fire. She soaks it in gasoline, sells tickets to the arson, and then uses the insurance money to buy a bigger board. She's an absolute, terrifying, magnificent savage. Almost 2 weeks later, Catherine Pierce did not go shopping. She conducted retail acquisitions. And today, Ethan Hayes was her target asset. With me. And try not to gawk, she commanded, striding out of the elevator into the hushed, marble-lined expanse of a high-end department store. Her heels struck the floor with a sound like gunshots, a percussive beat that announced her arrival and sent sales associates straightening to attention. Her presence didn't just part the crowds. It vaporized them, creating a sterile bubble of personal space in the bustling store. Ethan scurried in her wake, a confused sparrow following a bird of prey. He felt like a page boy who'd forgotten his script. Ethan one-track complaint ran nonstop. Okay, what fresh corporate hell is this? 1 minute I'm a key player in a multi-billion-dollar hostile takeover. The next I'm being marched through a temple of capitalism at spearfishing velocity. Shouldn't we be in a war room, staring at screens that show Norman Lark's career in free fall? Is this a reward? Did my bad juju analysis earn me a trip to the land of overpriced hangers? Ooh, that watch costs more than my car. Maybe she'll buy me a consolation condo for my emotional distress. A man can dream. Catherine's jaw tightened. The transition in his mind from global finance to real estate speculation based on his own perceived suffering was giving her whiplash. She stopped so abruptly in front of a luxury men's boutique that he nearly collided with her. The discreet silver lettering above the door probably translated to "You can't afford this." She turned, and her gaze, a cool, analytical laser, swept over him from his scruffy sneakers to his slightly faded, bargain rack flannel shirt. The entire ensemble screamed. I dress in the dark during a power outage. Ethan shuddered. Whoa, full body scan. Is there a spinach leaf in my teeth from the free lunch I definitely didn't pay for? Oh, I see. It's the flannel. She's doing a cost-benefit analysis on my wardrobe and finding a catastrophic deficit. My freedom of expression is apparently expressing, please fire me. Damn these capitalist overlords and their sartorial fascism. What about my right to look like a comfortably underpaid slob? Unless the corporate card is footing the bill. My principles are flexible. My morality is negotiable. But a free Brioni suit is a free Brioni suit. Catherine listened to the fierce internal debate between his proletarian pride and his latent gold digger tendencies. She fought the urge to rub her temples, instead fixing the eagerly waiting sales associate with a flat look. Strip him, she ordered, her voice devoid of all warmth. What he's wearing is a public service announcement for our competitors. Find him something that doesn't look like it was salvaged from a lost and found bin. Now, the associate, beaming as if handed a sacred mission, gently herded a bewildered Ethan toward the fitting rooms. 30 minutes later, the curtain drew back. A collective, almost imperceptible intake of breath rippled through the boutique. The man who emerged was not the Ethan Hayes who had entered. The perfectly tailored charcoal gray suit hugged his tall, lean frame like a second skin. A crisp white shirt, its top button undone, suggested casual confidence rather than sloppy dressing. The handmade Italian leather shoes gleamed with a rich, silent opulence. The boy next door had been evicted, replaced by a devastatingly sharp executive who belonged on the cover of a magazine he'd previously only used to line his birdcage. Ethan, thinking while staring at his reflection, holy hell, is that me? That chiseled jawline? That aura of casual power? I look like I broker mergers for breakfast and crush souls for a light snack. The clothes don't just make the man. They perform a full-scale, hostile takeover of his entire identity. My handsomeness wasn't just hidden, it was in corporate debtor's prison. The Ice Queen's taste is impeccable. I take back every bad thing I ever thought about her. Well, most of them. Catherine sat on a velvet sofa, sipping sparkling water with a slice of lemon, her expression unreadable. The transformation was, admittedly, striking, but her real entertainment had been the audio drama from the fitting room. Ethan's inner voice kept broadcasting from the fitting room, which is a frantic whisper. Okay, feel this fabric. It's like being hugged by a cloud that owns a private jet. This is what heaven must feel like. Wait, let's check the damage. Fumbles with tag, $8,000. $1,000? For a suit? That's a crime. That's my grocery budget for 6 months. I can't. I have principles. I'll tell her it's itchy. I'm allergic to ambition. No, wait. What if she fires me for being ungrateful? Ugh, fine. I'll accept it, and then work tirelessly to prove I'm worth the investment. Huh. Just kidding. I'm going to slack off even harder out of spite. I've got it. I'll say I have a deep, philosophical aversion to tailored clothing, that I feel it stifles my creative energy. Yeah, she'll buy that. I'm a genius. Then he had stepped out of the fitting room and saw his reflection. A moment of silence, then. Ethan's voice was now awestruck. Forget it. Forget everything I just said. They will have to pry this suit from my cold, dead, incredibly well-dressed body. I want to be buried in this. I'm never taking this off. I will sleep in it. I will shower in it. This suit is my skin now. Catherine took a slow sip of water. The man's ethical compass didn't just spin. It performed full, gleeful pirouettes for the right price. Ring it up, she said to the associate, handing over her black card without glancing at the total. 5 more outfits. Everything, from his suits to the socks. Ethan's head snapped around. His eyes widened, shining with a pure, unadulterated joy usually reserved for lottery winners and dogs seeing a leash. Ethan, sugar mama, oh my God, I love you. I take it all back. You're not a capitalist overlord. You're a benevolent goddess of retail. My body is your temple. Furnish it as you see fit. Ethan as he admires his reflection in a 3-way mirror. So, this is what it feels like to be a collectible. She's not just dressing an employee. She's accessorizing. I'm the human equivalent of a statement handbag. A really, really handsome statement handbag. Does she have a specific event in mind to show me off at? Or is this just for her private viewing pleasure in the office? Ethan, though, while feeling the lapel of a new sports jacket, first the penthouse, then the Ferrari, now a wardrobe worthy of a royal mistress. The signs are all there. I'm not just her assistant. I'm her project. Her very expensive, very well-dressed project. Is there a secret manual for this? How to be a CEO's arm candy? A beginner's guide? I hope it has a chapter on what to do when she inevitably tries to feed me grapes during a board meeting. Ethan caught Catherine's gaze in the mirror. She's looking at me with that same intense focus she usually reserves for quarterly reports. She's not seeing Ethan Hayes, marketing grunt. She's seeing asset, Hayes, ROI, pending. Well, the return on this investment is about to be a dazzling smile and unwavering, financially motivated loyalty. Take me to your charity galas, baby. I'm ready to be the trophy boyfriend who occasionally points out a multi-million-dollar financial landmine. As the associate brings over another stack of shirts, Ethan thought, this is the ultimate capitalist transaction. She gets a polished, custom-fit accessory for her empire, and I get to be a polished, custom-fit accessory. But let's be real, it's a hell of a step up from being a malfunctioning cog. If being her boy toy means a closet full of Italian silk and a car that goes vroom, then call me a kept man and pass the caviar. My dignity is currently being dry cleaned, and it's never felt better. Catherine felt a familiar, throbbing pressure begin to build behind her eyes. She closed them for a brief second, imagining the soothing quiet of a sensory deprivation tank. Catherine resigned herself to this bizarre reality, with a sigh she would never allow to escape, for the company, for the bottom line, and for the love of God, so he stops mentally calling me sugar mama. In the days that followed the stunning collapse of Viridian Dynamic and Norman Lark, Ethan Hayes truly experienced what it meant to be the second most powerful person in the company, not by title, but by proximity and unspoken influence. He became Catherine's permanent shadow, a silent, impeccably dressed fixture at her right hand. The change in his daily life was jarring. The walk from his dingy apartment to his executive office was no longer a commute. It was a procession. The envious gazes that had once been curious were now laced with a potent mixture of fear and resentment. Junior analysts would literally press themselves against the hallway walls to let him pass. The same VPs who, a month ago, would have looked straight through him as if he were a floating dust mote, now offered tight, deferential smiles. One day, a senior vice president actually held an elevator for him. Whoa. Look who remembers my name now. A month ago, this guy wouldn't have spared me a glance if I was on fire. Now he's smiling like I hold the keys to his bonus. Which, let's be real, if I whisper the wrong thing in the dragon's ear, I kinda do. The power is shockingly comfortable. And these idiots are so transparent. That one smile doesn't reach his eyes. He's probably already drafting an email to undermine me. Joke's on him, I don't read emails. His new role had a simple, brutal rhythm. When Catherine held high-level strategy meetings in the Obsidian boardroom, Ethan sat silently behind her, a human sphinx in a Brioni suit. As directors presented their meticulously prepared reports, his mind provided a private, running commentary for Catherine's ears only. During a budget review, look at old Henderson sweating over his marketing numbers. That hairline is receding faster than our market share in Europe. And he's blaming the economy? Please. His campaign was about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. The data is right there on slide 4, if you just cross-reference it with the Q1 engagement metrics, which he's conveniently forgotten to include. Amateur. When Catherine met with clients, Ethan was the ever-present sentinel. He'd stand, posture perfect, observing industry titan schmooze with a clinical detachment. In one of the meetings, a billionaire tech founder pitched a partnership to Catherine. This guy's so full of it, his eyes are brown. He's name-dropping 3 VCs who I know, for a fact, can't stand him. His entire business model is vibes and venture capital. He's a snake, but the kind that's all show, no actual venom. A waste of space in a $5,000 suit. The guy next to him, the quiet one with the cheap watch, he's the one who actually built the tech. He's the real asset. The founder is just the carnival barker. And when Catherine worked late, Ethan stayed too. Though his work often involved achieving new high scores on his gaming rig or meticulously organizing his pantry, his physical presence was a symbol of his total availability. The executive floor would be dark, save for the light from her office and the glow of his computer monitor illuminating his focused, gaming face. Catherine, for her part, found her brain adapting to a bizarre, dual-channel work mode. In one channel, the real world, her subordinates delivered polished, respectful, and often overly cautious reports. In the other, the private broadcast in her mind, Ethan provided the unfiltered, chaotic, and terrifyingly accurate truth. She learned to process complex data streams while simultaneously listening to his critiques of executive fashion and his mental ranking of the top 10 pizza places within a 3-mile radius. It was exhausting, maddening, and she had to admit, the most effective strategic advantage she had ever possessed. The slacker in the corner office had become the secret engine of her empire, and he was powered by equal parts sarcasm, genius, and a profound desire to do as little actual work as possible. The peasants were no longer just envious. They were terrified, and the king, for the first time, could see every single card in their hands. From Catherine Pierce's perspective, the Solstice Group was a carefully curated collection of beautiful disasters. Her father had built the company on the solid, unglamorous foundation of manufacturing, a world of predictable margins and tangible assets. But Catherine had seen the future in the crumbling edges of other people's failures. She had transformed Solstice from a producer into a predator, a corporate savior that specialized in acquiring beautiful, broken things. The Solstice Group was no longer the manufacturing powerhouse of its founder's era. Under Catherine Pierce, it had transformed into a voracious holding company, a corporate phoenix that specialized in acquiring other dying birds. Her strategy was brutal and brilliant. Identify companies on the brink, be it through mismanagement, like the media darling Starfire Incorporated, technological fraud like Viridian Dynamic, or hollow hype like Nexus Dynamics. Acquire them for pennies, perform radical surgery to excise the rot, and integrate the remaining healthy tissue into her growing empire. Her portfolio had swelled with these strategic victories. But each acquisition was a weight, stretching the company's liquid capital dangerously thin. The lifeblood of cash flow was becoming a trickle, diverted to resuscitate the newly acquired and stabilize the old. It was a high-wire act, and the constant, gnawing pressure of the company's financial fragility was the silent ghost haunting Catherine's every decision, a vulnerability she showed to no one. Starfire Inc., with its roster of fading stars and bloated contracts, was a narrative she could rewrite. Viridian Dynamic, a hollow shell built on stolen patents, was a structure she could tear down and rebuild. Nexus Dynamics, a house of cards propped up by hype and Harrison Vance's money, was a rival she could dismantle and absorb. Each acquisition was a strategic masterstroke, a public victory that expanded her empire and burnished her legend. But in the silent hours of the night, the balance sheet told a different story. Her portfolio was a garden of resuscitated ghosts, and keeping them alive was bleeding Solstice dry. The liquid capital, the lifeblood of any company, was stretched thinner than a razor's edge. Every dollar was allocated, every asset leveraged. The cash flow was a precarious trickle, diverted to feed the insatiable appetites of her new acquisitions and placate the nervous investors of the old guard. It was a high-wire act, and she was the lone performer without a net. The gnawing anxiety of the company's financial fragility was her constant, unwelcome companion, a ghost haunting the pristine halls of her success, a vulnerability she would never, ever show.